Woke up and decided to bring you guys along while I get ready and do my hair. First step is to brush all of it out and get rid of all of the tangles. Start to play around with the part and separate out sections. I'll section off and band up whatever I'm definitely not going to use so it stays out of my way. Then one last quick brush of the section I will be braiding and grab a hair tie for when I'm done with the braid. To start with the top braids because it's easier to see the part and where it should go. So I'll start here at the crown and separate out 3 tiny little strands and begin my Dutch braid. Over the many times that I've done this, I've found that starting with really small strands makes it easier to create a really defined braid up in the beginning and add in bigger chunks to make the braid really pop. I'll take this back until it lays just behind my ear and then transfer the Dutch to a regular braid all the way down to the end. Once finished, you will secure the braid with an elastic. The whole purpose of these braids in my hair when I do Ren Fairs is to keep the front part of my hair from falling into my face and my eyes while I'm riding or while I'm fighting. So I've chosen to take these lower braids just as the section that's in front of my ear and braid them kind of straight down as something different. Previously, I've done the lower braid identical to the top braid and braided it back towards the back of my head, but because I like to change things up, today we'll be going straight down. Again, we'll do this with really small strands at the start to make the braid pop and continue adding in pieces until you run out of hair to add. And then it's just a regular braid all the way down. Because this is such a small braid, the surface friction of the hair will hold it in place and I don't need to secure it with an elastic. Then we move on to the big top braid. And you get to see me screw up the first couple of strands. I really don't like the way it starts to look, so I pull it out and start back over. Most of the time at Ren Fairs, I don't actually have a mirror to do this in, so a lot of the times I have no idea what the braids actually look like until I get to see photos of myself. The top braid is probably the most important one to get the small strands start right with, otherwise it will look real funky. This braid is running from the top left or the front left part of my crown to the back right in a diagonal fashion. I originally did this braid in Florida last year because the very first weekend I did my normal 4 braids and I ended up with a very sunburnt part. So this was an attempt to prevent further sunburn and cover what was already sunburned. I'm Dutch braiding this braid until it falls behind my right ear. I don't like things when they fall down over my ears, so it'll go all the way back until it can fall naturally behind my right ear. I did learn the hard way that if you go too far back, you end up with not enough hair still down and flowing, and it makes your overall hairdo look very funky. Once you get the desired Dutch braid length, then you just regular braid it all the way down. I decided the next braid would run pretty much parallel to the top braid, starting in the front, small strands, and running back to where it hit just behind my ear, and then the third braid would go straight down, pretty much mirroring the other side. Once you get your desired length, then you switch from a Dutch braid to a regular braid and braid it all the way down. A lot of times I'll get little hairs stuck in the braid while I'm braiding, so what you'll see me do is continually reach up and pull them back free. Otherwise, they will get ripped out later on. This one in particular I didn't catch fast enough. I'll frequently end up with these little wrap guys where I lost track of my braid while I was braiding because of something around me. I think they look really cool, so I tend to leave them. On to the last braid. So again, this one's gonna just take this small section of hair here in front of my ear. I'll braid it straight down. This is just really keeping it out of my face. I don't always go for symmetry, but today it felt right. Dutch braid it till it gets till you run out of hair to add in, and then regular braid it all the way down. I get joined by the rest of the team here, so I turn around and we have some conversations about the morning and how things are going while I'm finishing this braid. This is another really skinny braid, so the surface friction will keep it in place. Go forth and be fierce.